The eAdapt research team visited several projects in schools across Europe to get a better understanding about how adaptive teaching and a corresponding usage of digital tools are shaping and reshaping the learning experience in the classroom and beyond. Join us in this video when we visit Great Britain, talk to expert and experience adaptive teaching in the Newcastle area.
Cognitively, it's very, very demanding being that teacher. Your brain is bursting. So those complex judgments are swirling around in every classroom. Often teachers are not very conscious of them as well. They're quite automatic, subconscious.
I think sometimes in teaching you pick up habits quite easily and you might start doing things that you know maybe aren't good practice. I think the biggest difficulty we have in schools with professional development and learning is time.
It can be a tough area for leaders to try and get staff engaged and involved in CPD.
And it's never the same coming back to school and disseminating that to staff. Second-hand information is never the same.
Well, the single thing that you have most control over that makes the most difference is the expertise of the teachers in the classroom. How do we support the building of expertise of our teaching staff?
We'd like to think of that as one place where teachers can go to address a lot of their CPD needs.
Okay, well, what's so important? What do we need to get in providing that for teachers? So the model for great teaching is made up of 4 different dimensions that relate to effective teaching practices that the research suggests these are the things that are really powerful. So the first dimension is understanding the content. The second dimension is creating a supportive environment. The third dimension is maximizing opportunity to learn. And the fourth dimension is all about activating hard thinking.
So the challenge is to take you from wherever you are and to help you to be just a little bit better. We try to give people that expertise so that we take adaptation as the norm.
I feel like the user engagement is enjoyable, and I think that gets staff's guard down.
This is the main landing page, the dashboard, you could think of it as, where teachers can quickly get a glance of where they are in the Great Teaching Toolkit and what's happening. So the key thing that we offer are these development cycles, this pathway, essentially. What's important to know is that teachers don't have to use this pathway. All the courses are based on the model for great teaching and the dimensions and the elements within the model for great teaching.
So we're breaking the courses down a little bit and making some of the resources more accessible so that they're a bit more bite-sized.
It's very accessible because it has video content, so you can watch videos of explanations. You've then got text that you can access. You might have a reference to something, so you can do a little bit of deeper researching and find out more about things that interest you.
We have student surveys for teachers to get feedback about their teaching, because the research suggests that actually students have a pretty good understanding of what's going on in the classroom. So the student surveys are a great way for teachers to get some of that personalized feedback and then use that feedback to start making decisions about what they decide to do next.
And then after you've got students to complete it, it generates all of your feedback for you instantly. It's presented in a really clear way, so it's different like pie charts and graphs and things like that, so you can easily compare how you are at teaching certain areas of what great teaching is compared to other parts. But it was all useful because of the way that the feedback was designed.
We also have the video observation tool, and the reason that they're in there is to help teachers get insights about their current teaching practice.
Teachers can upload a video of themselves in front of their class, giving a lesson or even just a small 5-minute segment, and then share that with teachers at their school. I can then either myself or by sharing this video to others, allow others to see this video and then provide markers.
So the way we do it is we'll all have an observation of a really small part of our teaching, and then we unpick that in partners. Our next step is to unpick it in groups of 3 or 4, because we feel like more people in the conversation will benefit the conversation, make it a better conversation, a better experience for CPD. And that's where our CPD is changing and staff feel more and more confident videoing themselves, focusing on elements of their teaching.
So for an example, to begin with, we all did the introduction. So we looked at the model for great teaching, And then we followed that when we looked at how we presented information to children. That was really useful. A school priority for us was to improve writing. So because teachers thought more about how they scaffolded information and presented that and modelled to the children, we were able to see how that impacted on writing. Following that, another priority became clear through using one of the surveys, which was around the environment and the culture of the school. So the next module that we will do will be based around behaviour and culture.
We have staff meetings every Wednesday. So our senior leadership team, they have integrated the Great Teaching Toolkit units into our directed time during staff meetings. All staff receive the same amount of time, and we're directed to complete specific units or specific reading within each staff meeting. And it's worked really well.
When we start working together, that's when the bit of magic starts to happen, where trust starts to build, and we're learning new ways to develop each other through observing each other, talking about what's good teaching and where those good moments are.
So the way we use the toolkit is staff work in small groups to work on an area that they all want to develop, that they have in common.
We want to encourage long-term change, right? We want to develop habit formation.
But those changes are hard, and they're, in a sense, they're resisted by the inertia in the system. So we have to think hard about how we make that behavioural change as well.
It's part of embracing that culture and getting staff to really believe in that lifelong learning approach.
How do we make this the thing that's automatic? How do we make it the habit, the thing you do when you're not thinking about what you do?
I think one of the most significant changes that I've noticed since I've started using it is that I feel much more confident in my own practice, and I know that the decisions I make in my classroom are evidence-informed.
That's also changed how staff talk about teaching and learning. It's enabled us to have conversations where staff can critique each other in a safe environment that's going to bring us all forward together. That reflection process is making me a better educator, it's making me understand my job on a deeper level, and it's making me feel more connected to the school that I'm in and the people that I work with. So again, it's changing our relationships for the better. It's making us more critical, but more trusting and more honest with each other.
Asking if they can go and try something out or wanting to try something new, that really helps us have those conversations and develop that culture of being evidence-informed.
I think their expertise and adaptivity are really two sides of the same coin, because the reason for the need for expertise is because these complex judgments that teachers have to make.
So when we're using the platform and you've chosen your element, I feel like that microscopic look allows those micro adaptations to your practice, because you're so focused on that small element.
If I decide that I need to work on a certain area of my practice, I'm able to do that by the range of resources that are on there. I'm able to then adapt better to my students' needs because I'm more confident in the approach that I take in the classroom, and I've got a wider range of strategies and ideas to use to implement in my teaching and in the classroom.
I think one thing I found really helpful with the toolkit is that flexibility to adapt it to your own practice.
It's the commitment to the evidence, I think, that makes us stand apart. And I think there is a danger with some edtech that it's shiny and you can kind of make these claims, you know, based on a really exciting product, but actually they don't have that firm foundation of research. And hopefully what we're building in the Great Teaching Toolkit gives us that firm foundation sort of as a given.
I think all teachers want to get better and want to improve, and we're here for the children to make sure that we give them the best education that we can, and GTT definitely gives us the tools to be able to do that, so that our practice isn't stagnant, doesn't become outdated. It ensures that recent and up-to-date theory is accessible to teachers as and when we can access it, and then we're able to improve our practice and then improve teaching and learning and make sure that the children get the best.